Good morning, family. I just woke up and I'm getting ready to hit the road. Something I thought about something actually last night, and then I said, "Man, I'm probably gonna do a video about this." And I was thinking about it again this morning. And I said, "Man, let me just sit down and talk about it real quick, and before I hit the road." But I mean, I've been married twice. I got married when I was 19, and I've talked about this on a few other videos on this channel. But I got married when I was 19 the first time, and I got engaged at 19. I think my ex-wife corrected me and said, no, I was 20. I have to do the math on it. But I know for a fact that I was engaged to be married at 19. And our engagement was only a few months. So anyway, but I, I married her mainly for religious reasons. I That was the main thing. It wasn't that I didn't love her and stuff like that, but I think it's clear the reason I made that foolish decision at 19 was religious reasons, things that church folk encouraged me to do, and based off a misunderstanding of scripture, why I should do something like that. So I did that. I was not prepared, and I go into a lot more detail about that. So that was a long, tumultuous kind of relationship. I was very immature, very religious, foolish. No good examples of how to have a good marriage. I mean, my growing up in my marriage. Well, this video is not even about the first marriage; it's about the second one. So let me go. Like I said, I've talked about the first one in other videos, but the second one, when I got married again after I divorced, I stayed single for a while, and actually in this period of time, it kind of led to my renewed and different relationship with God and religion and the Bible and things like that, which I'm very grateful for. It kind of brought me to where I am today again, talked about in other videos. But my second marriage, I was almost 40. And I fell in love with this young lady. And I loved almost everything about her. And she betrayed me a few times. And I don't want to get into any kind of specifics because we're good friends to today. I'm good friends with all my exes. But the truth is still the truth. There were issues we had, and we broke up. And the first time we broke up and split, and oh my God, it crushed me. I was very hurt and wounded by what she did, but the period we were apart after I left her, I felt worse and more pain than I did by how I felt like she betrayed me. And so I went back to her, and we ended up getting married, and we were engaged the first time when we broke up. So I proposed again, got another ring, and we got married. And there were, long story short, there were a bunch of things that were happening that were not good. And I kept taking it. I kept dealing with it because I remembered anytime I thought about leaving her and saying it's enough, I remembered how I felt when I left her the first time. And it was like, we're gonna have to make this work. I'm gonna have to overlook it, and I complained and bitched so much the first marriage. I'm gonna be different this marriage. I ain't gonna be complaining and bitching all the time this time, blah, blah, blah. Part of me thinking maybe it's karma, I'm getting some of that back, whatever. And so I'm just trying to love her. I'm just trying to be there for her, and I'm having a hard time. Things are getting rougher. It seems like by me not putting my foot down or by me not really leaving or anything, it was like she just got worse or more blatant and stuff like that. And so eventually something happened. It was really over the top. I couldn't take it no more, and I'm in tears. So I give her an opportunity to try to get it together, and she won't even accept the responsibility for her actions. And so I had to leave, and I had to end the marriage. So again, I'm giving you the short of it. And years after we divorced, I still loved her and pined for her. And she still wanted to be friends. She still wanted to be in my life. So, she would still cook for me. We would see each other and spend time together and do things and everything like that. And she didn't want the divorce, but I, or at least that's what she said. So, but I'm not about that. I stopped. At the time, I felt like I was just fed up. Like I was just pissed that I couldn't take it no more. I'm done. But really, when I look at it now, and I realize this again even more last night as I started thinking about it, because I was thinking about it for other people. There's other people's lives that when you're counseling them and you're trying to give them advice and you see yourself in them, and it's like, I realize as I'm diagnosing them that, man, that was me. That really the issue was I didn't love myself at first. I was this 40-year-old man, I'm saying, almost 40, and just felt like I had wasted most of my life, and I was young and dumb, and I had a bad marriage. I want to have a good marriage this time, and this and that, and blah, blah, blah. And I felt like I married up, like I got lucky. I hit the jackpot kind of thing. And because I devalued myself, I didn't feel, and so I believe she could feel that and she could sense that. And she just took advantage of that. And she like, well, this guy's all into me. He'll do anything for me, that kind of thing. And so let me go ahead. And that she didn't really love me like I loved her. And so as I grew, time would pass, and I began to have a different relationship with God, like I had stressed before. Things that kind of led up to this channel. And so I had ideas for this channel back then. I just took forever to do it, procrastinating, not thinking I was ready, not sure if I wanted to say this controversial stuff. But anyway, but I started to value myself a little. I just started to love myself a little. Having this different relationship with God started to make me see that maybe I was more than a servant, than a slave of God, just here to do the king's work and to be an ambassador for Christ, that there was something more. That I began to feel like God was saying, what do you want, son? And like he was valuing me and saying, I want to help you do what stuff like that. And it started to change how I saw myself. And that kind of led up to me finally saying, enough is enough. I can't take this anymore. But then after we were divorced, again, I'm loving her. Every time I saw a picture of her, it would tear me down and break me apart. It was like I had to get rid of anything that reminded me of her, because it was like it would just ruin my day. It was like, oh my God. And the thing was that I felt like I was in a position, I never tested this, but I felt like I could take her back. Like even though we divorced, she still was waiting for me. She, I could come back and get her. And so I was tempted. But so I'm giving her opportunities to try to still take responsibility, to admit you're wrong, to own up to it, to give a sincere apology. Let's do these kind of things. And even though I hadn't really seen her life change, her become a different person, because I loved her so much and still had a lot of devaluing for myself, I still was hopeful, and I would have settled for just a sincere apology straight to my face and admitting what she had done. Oh, and I also she had lied on me to some other people to make herself, to cover up what she had done. And so I was like, you gotta tell these people the truth. And I was like, you tell these people the truth, we can squash all that, everything, and she didn't want to do that. Her pride, I was not more important than her pride. So I said, okay. But I was still willing to accept this. And even after she wouldn't do it, I still would try to hang on to her, still spend time with her. She was bringing me happiness and joy in that. And still had visions of maybe we'll get back together. Maybe she'll grow up. Maybe she'll realize what she's lost. And she never really did. As a matter of fact, I think the more that I spent time around her, and the more, she began to get more like she was in our relationship again. It was like, wow, okay. But again, it was me devaluing myself, thinking that I deserved this. But as I grew and time elapsed, and I began to love myself more, the things she would do became unacceptable. And it wasn't even really bad things. I began to look just when I would think of her, I would see things she did and how she treated me. Just things, how she was as a person were unacceptable to me. It's like, I deserve better than that. And that came from me loving myself. I'm at the point now where that's my boo. Now you mess with her, I jack you up. But man, look, she could change and admit everything and own up to it. I still would not want her back. I love and value myself too much. I want way more than that. I want more than I thought she was when I first met her, before I saw the things that were a disappointment to me. And that came from a valuing of myself. Now, the reason I mention this to you is because I see this all the time in other people. And again, I didn't really realize that I was guilty of the same thing, but I see this, and I see women in relationships with people, and they'll, I mean, I've had women do that to me, where I never call them, I never check on them, I never text them, I never take them out, I never do anything for them. And they love me to death. They'll do anything for me. And it's like, you love me? How do you love me? I've never done anything for you. You know what I'm saying? I don't call you, I don't check on you, you don't cross my mind. But yet and still, they loved my dirty draws. But I look at it though, and you can see that there is some tinge of lack of love for them in their lives when you examine it closer. And I see that in other people that I'm counseling about other relationships. They're calling me and they got these issues, and why he want this and why she want that and this and that. And I'm looking at them, it's like, you're not even married to them. Now, if you were married to them, there was something invested. Maybe y'all got kids together. You know, you got to be a little more lenient with that. It might not be just a thing of lack of love. I mean, you made a commitment for life with this person. You got a kid with them, which is still another commitment for life with a person. So that's different. But when it's nothing like that, it's just somebody you dating, and you take all types of abuse and neglect over and over again. Is it possible that that is because you do not love and value yourself? Is it possible that some kind of way you think you deserve that? You think it's acceptable. And a lot of times you'll see these will be attractive people. It's not like these are people who are unattractive and don't have options. They got people hitting on them all the time. Everybody think they're attractive. Most people, I should say, you know, they have options, but the one that's loving them and trying to get them attention, they don't seem like they want that one. They want the one who gives them no attention. And I just wonder about that. I mean, if a guy is busy and he doesn't have time because he's busy, so he can't just be at your beck and call, maybe that's a little different. But if he got time and he just don't want to spend it with you, unless maybe he bending you over, I think that you might need to, and I'm not saying that you know, maybe that bending over is really worth it. You know what I'm saying? But maybe you need to just keep it to that and not be looking for a relationship for that. Why is there something in us that would make us desire neglect? That would make us desire disrespect? That would make us desire mistreatment? I think that it is lack of love for ourselves. And I realize that a lot of church folk have that, because we are taught and trained, and it's beat into a lot of us, not all of us, a lot of us, that God is everything, and we need to love and focus on God, and we're nothing. We're as dust, we're as filthy rags. All these different scriptures out of context, which is the reason why I got this channel in the first place. But they belittle us like we're nothing. And so we deserve nothing because we are nothing, and God is everything, and everybody else is better than us. And so we feel like we lucky if we get a little excitement in our lives at most. But is it possible that the reason that we accept these things instead of all these other deep reasons that people give, and these people are more exciting. The ones who don't care that much are not, and the ones who don't care that much are more exciting. The ones who care and want to carry your book bags, whatever, they're not that exciting. Really, that's stuff we debate back and forth and argue and we point out. But I wonder if the root, the true root, is a lack of love, a lack of value in ourselves. I'm not sure. I think so. But you have to decide for yourself. Share this video with somebody you might bless. Hopefully it blesses you and encourages you and gives you something to think about, just something to pay. I think that if we could diagnose the problem, it's easier to treat it. And we might be having a lot of misdiagnosis. I think I misdiagnosed a lot of things that I did and why I did them. And you look back later, and as time comes and you get wisdom, you say, man, it wasn't what I thought it was. And a lot of the majority of the issues in my life, the reasons I did the stupid things I did, was because I devalued myself. I did not love myself. Let it marinate. If you want to see more from us crazy Christians, hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel. If you're a returning guest and haven't subscribed, what are you waiting for? It's free. Plus, hit the notifications bell to be notified every time we post a new video. Thanks for watching us crazy Christians. Until next time, be blessed.